Hello you lot, this is KeefCooks, I'm Keef, and today I'm going to do something that might surprise you. Actually it won't, because you've read the title and the thumbnail already, so you know. It's going to be vegan shepherd's cottage pie. I'm doing this because it was requested by Leo, and also he's asked for a shout out for his girlfriend Emma Dawkins, and he says they have both watched every video I've ever made. I think that's possibly unlikely, but well done, congratulations. Alright, most of you probably know I'm not a big fan of vegetarian food and that because I like my meat. But Mrs. KeefCooks would like to be a vegetarian when she grows up, so we'll just do this to appease her a little bit. And yeah, also some of you will complain about it being called vegan something meaty. I know I'm not responsible for that, so just, you know, leave it alone. It's what it is. If you enjoy this video, press like, subscribe, and without further ado, let's do it! Okay, a lot of recipes for this would use textured vegetable protein as a meat substitute in the sauce, which defeats the whole object. Apart from it not being a realistic alternative to mince, or not convincing one, it just seems wrong. So my sauce will be made from mostly mushrooms, some lentils, and some pearl barley and other stuff. So I've got 115 grams of chestnut mushrooms, 115 grams of button mushrooms, 90 grams of red lentils, 90 grams of pearl barley, a medium onion, a small carrot. I'll also have some frozen peas, and a handful of flat leaf parsley, salt and pepper to taste, and a teaspoon or two of yeast extract, and some tomato puree, and Henderson sauce. If you don't live in Yorkshire, you will have a hard time getting this. So what you want to look for is something like Worcester sauce, but make sure it's vegan approved, because most Worcester sauce will contain either anchovies or fish sauce, and both of those are obviously not veganish, so you can't have them. The lentils, I'm using orange ones. They don't need to be soaked, but I have rinsed them. Also, I've rinsed the pearl barley. If you've got green or puy lentils, they take longer to cook, 15 minutes more than this, so 40 minutes. And they would benefit probably from a couple of hours soaking beforehand. Now I'm going to cook the barley separately, just so I know that it's really properly cooked. Depending on its age, it can take longer than you expect. I'm thinking this will take 25 minutes. So I'll just top it up with, well, twice as much water as I have barley. Whack that on the stove, bring it to the boil, and simmer it for 25 minutes. So I've chopped the button mushrooms quite small, and I'll chop up the chestnut mushrooms, but I'm going to do these ones bigger, so we get a sort of variation in texture, kind of like that. Now I'm going to top and tail, peel and chop the onion. I don't know what's wrong with my table thing today, it's pretty wobbly. And we'll dice the carrot. Now I'm going to cook the mushrooms in some oil for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. Basically until all of the moisture has been released and disappeared and evaporated. Just keep an eye on that, keep stirring it as and when required. So now we take the mushrooms out of the pan, add a bit more oil. When that's heated up, we'll put the onions in, and we want those to cook for about 5 minutes, and a little bit of browning on the edge is acceptable. Then we have the diced carrots, and let those cook for a few minutes. And then if I had any vegetable stock, I would pour that in. You want about half a litre of liquid. I'm just going to use some water. Then we'll test the barley for doneness and drain it and add it to that pan with the lentils. And don't forget to put the mushrooms back in. Now that's been simmering away for 5-10 minutes. I've added some more water. I'm going to add this amount of petit pois, little frozen peas, and then 2 teaspoons of yeast extract. A good sploosh of Hendo's or whatever Worcester sauce equivalent or substitute you're using. If you are using it, it's not actually critical that you have this. And some tomato puree. Whiz those together, give them a taste, and then we'll let it simmer away for about half an hour till everything is cooked. While the sauce is bubbling away, I'm going to do my potatoes, so peeling these. Let's use a peeler. So we'll cut them into equal sized chunks. Pop them into a pot of salted water, bring it to the boil and simmer it for about 10-15 minutes until the potatoes are tender. So I've chopped the parsley and I've put most of it into the sauce, just saving a bit for garnish. I've also added some salt and I'll add some pepper. And we'll give it a taste, and if it's okay, that'll be done for now. So we'll take it off the heat and let it cool down until we need it later. Meanwhile, I reckon the spuds are cooked, so we'll mash those. Now I'm going to mash the potatoes, and I actually don't think I've got enough there, so I've got another spud cooking away behind me. So one of the things that I always put in mashed potato is butter, and the other one is milk, both of which are not allowed in vegan stuff. So I've got some olive spread, which is suitable for vegans. And I've got this oat milk, which I tasted it. It's like homeopathic porridge. It's very, very faintly porridge flavoured. Also use a bit of salt and some white pepper. And the good old potato ricer. I'll put a link down below if you want to buy one of these from Amazon, and I'll get a penny if you do. Okay, let's taste that. More salt. I want to put more milk in, but I don't want to put that in because you can actually taste that it's not proper milk. Right, I've got my fan convection oven heating to 180 degrees Celsius, and that's 200 for a conventional one, and gas on the screen. So now I've got my chilled sauce. I'm going to spread the mashed potato in a layer, and you want to make sure it goes right to the edges, no gaps, and well, as even as you can. So there we go, nice smooth layer of potato. I'm just going to make a pattern on the top with a big fork. You know, you can decorate the top any way you like. Doing something is to create ridges that will catch the heat and brown somewhat. And a few dabs of the vegan margarine stuff. And just scatter some parsley over there as well. Okay, and that'll go in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes till it's kind of golden and crunchy on the top. And now, it's taste test time with Mrs. KeefCooks.
AKA her upstairs.
But you're not.
I'm not.
No. Right, there you go.
Cottage pie?
Vegan.
Why?
Aye, vegan pie. It's got a vegan in it.
It's got the right colour combo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I think you've gone a tad overboard with the salt. What do you think? Yeah? Because I actually like vegetarian food. Keith's not keen. He always feels deprived, don't you?
No.
No, he lies. Anyway.
I've got bacon butty in the fridge.
You get such really good flavours from there, the herbs and the spices. But yeah.
Well, I was trying to replicate, you know, a meaty base, a meaty sauce.
Right.
So there's quite a lot of yeast extract in it, which is quite salty.
Yeah, because it doesn't taste as if it's been over salted as such, but you're getting that salt hit in the back of your mouth. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that. It needs some peas and it needs some actual sauce, I think.
Oh,
What do you
gravy.
think? I mean, it's wet enough, but I like.
I should have made some vegan gravy.
Yeah, I mean, I've got vegetable stock cubes, haven't I?
I thought you had. Well, I don't know where you stashed them. In there.
In the secret vegetable cupboard, so Keith doesn't have to see these things. There are pulses in there. There are nuts. There's dried fruit. It's all right. You could do a tagine. Somebody wanted you to do a tagine, didn't they?
Yes, I'm doing it. I've got some preserved lemons on the go, and they take 2 weeks. So
Oh yeah.
tagine in 2 weeks.
Cool.
All right. Okay. That's it. That's quite good. Make it. So, thanks for watching, and see you next time.